be like, he would send me these big paragraphs and be like, I love you so much, I love you, and I want to be with you, and I want to marry you, and all these things. When he's sober, like stone cold sober, this man was in love with me. The second he touched a circle, this man was my biggest hater. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Darkest Sunrise. Can you see what camera I'm using? Because God is so good. Listen, God is so amazing. I turned this camera, I'm telling you, I changed the batteries, charged the batteries, everything would not turn on. I prayed. The power of prayer is so amazing because, girl, I turned this camera on and it's working. What is that? I'm so freaking happy. I'm so blessed because I really was so nervous. I did not want to have to drop any money on a new camera, and I really wasn't about to have to, like, I didn't want to have to be on here doing like 10-minute videos for you guys all the time. So I'm so excited that this camera is working now. You have no idea. Today I want to talk about William. This is a part of our relationship that I have kept pretty private. Like, I've touched on it before in the video, like the whole dating into a racist family, like that playlist. It's linked in my bio, or not in my bio. It's on my page, under my playlist. Briefly touched on it because we went to the Chinese food place and he was flirting with that girl, okay? And then he had confessed to me that he was, you know, crushing in some, you know, pills, and I was just not happy with him. I wanted to talk about this relationship because I feel like this is a lesson that a lot of girls should learn young, because at the time I really just put my all into him, regardless, because I felt like if he were to OD, it would be my fault. Like, if I left him, I didn't want to abandon him. I didn't want him to think that, you know, he had nobody. But a lot of the stuff that he was doing was pure manipulation. Even though he does suffer with addiction. I don't know if he still does to this day. It's life now, but back then he was like a full-blown addict, bro. Like, he had to go to rehab, like all types of things. The thing that was so hard was the age that I was at. I believe that him and I dated my entire junior year of high school, and then we stopped talking, like I had mentioned in the last videos, and then we had reconnected in adulthood. And so in high school, though, like, our relationship was so tumultuous. Our relationship was so like, we should not have been having these issues in a high school relationship. This is basically what I'm gonna say. And I just wanna come on here and talk about it because I think that it could show some young girls not to deal with what the hell I was dealing with. And also, I wanted to say that I want to give a huge, like, I just want to send all the love in the world to Life with Simone. Okay, I love Simone with my whole heart, and she is like the person who gave me, like, the courage to open up about this, because she talks about her ex and his addiction and all that, and, you know, I be peeping her. Okay, I watch her religiously. I know everybody. I know Rat, I know Enemy, I know Red, Joe, all of them. I know all of them. Listen, I love her, and I think that it's so amazing when people can open up about their experiences, because then it gives people, like, in this situation, like with me, it gives people the courage to open up too. And I've talked about exes and their addictions before, but most of the time it's been like for entertainment purposes, like Red in the bathroom, like doing drugs, and me on the floor, like just like peeking underneath, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, and it's mainly just like for you to see like a story that wasn't funny at the time but is funny now. But this one I really just want people to take a lesson from, because it is so important to love and respect yourself, and put yourself first, especially this young and in these types of situations. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, as I said before, he had confessed to me that he was on pills, and pills had became a huge problem within our relationship. So he already had this like cock of the walk type of attitude. He already had this like, I'm better than everybody else, I can lift 250 when I can really only lift like 20 pounds, like get out of here, you know what I mean? Like, he had this like huge grandiose attitude, like he was like this great guy, like he had this delusions of grandeur and all these things, and I really should have seen that as a red flag, but there are cocky dudes every fucking where. But the pills became a huge I don't know if I should say pills, I'll call them circles. So the circles became a huge problem, okay? He was taking circles all of the freaking time. I cannot confirm nor deny, but I think that the circles was a gateway for him, because there was a time where he was just so, like, not himself. Eyes sunken. Like, this is not something that you're off, like, circles or you're, you know, gardening a little bit. Like, it was just, he was, like, full-fledged in addiction. And at the time, I thought that I could save him, girl. Girl, I can't be saving him now. I don't know what the hell I thought I was gonna do then, okay? That became a part of our makeup and breakup. So basically, like, me and William, and again, you're gonna have to, like, I there's a whole backstory on William, like, in my playlist of all of his videos, like his racist dad, like he locked me in a room, like all these different things, like our pregnancy scare, like a whole bunch of shit, okay? It became a part of our makeup and breakup routine, and, you know, I would get fed up, and then he would coax me back because he'd be like, I want to get clean and I want to be better for you, and I want to really live life, and I want, if I look over here, I'm sorry, I'm using my phone as my viewfinder, I just want to make sure my phone's still or my camera's still recording because I'm like nervous, but you know, he'd be like, I want to be clean for you, I want to be better for you, I want you to understand, like, you're the only person like, he would say the most beautiful things to me, and it's crazy because, like, he would say the most vile things to me when he was high, like, the most vile things, bro. There was a situation, and I'm sorry if you can hear my fan, I should probably turn it down, but it's really hot in here. Hold on, let me turn it down. It's all a conspiracy, y'all. It's hot up in this bitch. Like, I don't know, it was weird because it was like, when him and I first got together, I thought he was like a blessing from the heavens above, because I felt like no boys liked me, I felt like I was alone, I felt like I didn't belong anywhere, and also, like, I had two of these girls that I was friends with that completely turned their backs on me in one of the darkest moments of my life. Like, I mean, like, when I was like a kid, I went through, well, yeah, teenager, I went through, like, still a kid, I went through some very traumatic things in my personal life, and instead of being there for me, they, like, talked fucking shit, and it was strange, but he came into my life, like, after I had, like, gotten rid of them, and so it felt like fate. It felt like, oh, I got rid of all these people who I was already having, like, doubts about in my mind with our friendship, and now he's replacing these people. So I was really, and I also had abandonment issues, avoidant attachment, like insecure attachment to this man. Like, I really truly was just like, I latched onto him, like latched, bro. And there were times where, like, we would have these long conversations about how he wanted to change and about how he wanted to be a better person, and then in the next minute I'm a bitch. And then there's, like, these times where, like, he would call me out my name. Like, one thing I will say is that he never hit me. That's one thing that I will say, but, like, that's not even good enough. Like, he would be, like, pissed and call me names, or, like, he would get, like, elevated, and like, we would be, like, you know, he would call me names during it. I just hit that. He would call me names during it. Like, he would be so, like, demeaning and degrading during it. Like, it was almost like he would become this completely different person when he was off circles, and I honestly feel like he was off something other than circles. But, you know, like I had mentioned previously, I had broken up with him because I saw that he was in the same town as this girl on Meet Me, okay? And I know I was wrong in this situation because I had assumed something without any evidence. Their locations were just the same. And honestly, I do feel like at some point they hooked up, whether it was in our relationship or outside of our relationship, because there's no way that this girl is just posting on your Facebook or your Meet Me, I'm sorry, and you don't know her, and she's just a stalker, and, like, she knows your family, but she's stalking you. Like, if she was stalking you, your family would not be friends with her. So be for real. I broke up with him. Like, he spiraled, like, absolutely spiraled. Like, he was telling me all these fights that he was getting into. He was telling me, like, he was, like, feeling like that was even becoming an addiction for him. Like, he's like, yeah, I love fighting better than I love effing, like, all these different things. And I'm just like, he just started to spiral. And mind you, we're in high school. Like, we are in high school, and I don't know, like, what he saw in his life as a child, or, like, what he went through, because a lot of things he would, like, tell me about, like, his dad, and, like, all these different things, because his dad was, like, racist, and his dad was also just not the nicest person. But it was weird because, like, when we got older, there was things that happened in his life again, and, like, that were terrible. And whenever I was still with him, he was never on, I don't know, it was just weird. Like, I mean, I guess he got clean, but, like, at the same time, is he though? Because he would, like, you're clean from circles, but, like, he would, like, literally be, like, on a bender, like, Snapchatting me, like, drinking all freaking weekend in our adulthood. So I don't know. He did that back in high school too. Actually, he did that back in high school too. He would go on benders, and he would go drinking with his friends, and he would not talk to me for days. I would be, like, blowing him up, and it got to a point where I was so frustrated, because it's like, I don't know if you're dead or alive. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? If I'm messaging you and you're supposed to, like, he would be having to show up at a certain time, certain place, not show up for days. Like, I'm saying days, and, like, no response. And they'd be like, hey, sorry, I was working. But, like, were you though? You can't be working for 3 days straight and never go home. There's labor laws against it. And then would come the times where, like, he got really bad. There was, like, a time where he got super bad in his addiction, and he was taking circles all the fucking time, and every day he would not every day, we're not gonna say every day, but like we'll say he broke 5 phones in the span of like a month. And so it would become harder and harder to talk to him because he would get mad that he couldn't get his stuff and break a phone, and then get another phone and then be mad that he couldn't get his stuff and break a phone. But it's like, what are, like, I could not even imagine. Like, it was like, I know that he was going through his own personal struggles and battles, but like, to be addicted in like as young as he was, like, I don't know, it was crazy. Loved in the beginning when he defended me and like told me like that he loved me and like defended me against all these racist people that like didn't want him to be with me, and he cared for me, and he took the time to like talk to me and get to know me, and like we fell in love. Like I missed that part of him because it was like, where are you, sir? Like, where are you? Like, he literally became a completely different person because of the circles, bro. When he was like elevated, bro, he was somebody else, like completely somebody else. And I don't know if his family knew, but it's not like I could have told them because his dad was racist. And if I would have said like, hey, like, your son, like, he would not have been like, oh, my son's addicted, that's terrible. He would have been like, my son's addicted and he's with this ugly black bitch. Like, he would have been off. So it was like, I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. And he just started getting like way more reckless. Like, we would meet up, like there was a time that him and I had met up, and we had talked at, I can't remember where we talked at. He was supposed to meet me at this learning fair at my high school. It was a Saturday. I know it was a Saturday for sure. But he had like messaged me and told me, he was like, hey, I have a question. And I'm like, sure, what's up? And he was like, can I inside of you as many times as I can on Saturday?
What the fuck is wrong with you niggas?
And I was like, why? And he's like, so I can get you pregnant? Like, I'm telling you, like, and this isn't the situation from the last time where I was talking about, like, he was like, oh, well, we should get pregnant and get low income housing. This was like a separate situation. He was constantly trying to get me pregnant. Can you imagine if I had gotten pregnant by this man, knowing how he treated me in adulthood when I had that pregnancy scare? Bitch. At this point, we're hiding our relationship from both of our parents because my mom knew that I was dating him at one point because he was like the first person that she allowed me to date, like go out with to date, because I had been in so many like long distance relationships that I hid from her. I had been in so many relationships that I've hid from her, but he was like the first one that she like let me go with, because him and I had been breaking up and making up over and over and over again. My mom was like, you're not getting back with him. Well, sorry, but you're not. And I was like, but am I not? But am I not? So we were hiding our relationship for so long, and there came a point in time where she was like, you're just not getting back with him. Like, you can be friends with him if you want to, but you can only hang out in our town. You can't go anywhere else with him, whatever, which was like, I was surprised she even gave me that. But like, I was so mad that we were gonna have to spend another 8 months hiding our relationship, because so many people already like dogged our relationship, and I was like, I don't care. Like, I loved him, like, unconditionally, bitch. Like, I think that he hit another rough patch. And I don't know if this was, I feel like this was whenever he started gatewaying, like dabbling in other things, because he would be so mean to me for absolutely no fucking reason. And he would like justify him hanging out with other girls because his guy friends were racist. He'd be like, well, I can't hang out with my guy friends because they all fucking stopped talking to me because I'm dating you, so I'm just supposed to have no friends. I'm just supposed to have no one. Clear difference from having a girl that's a friend, and you being like, who wants to party tonight? And some girl be like, pick me up at 8. That's so completely fucking different. So completely fucking different. And I'm so sorry, but the way that I was feeling with the girl that I had thought that he had cheated on me in the past, and I shouldn't have even gotten back with him after that, but like, the girl that I thought that he had cheated on me with in the past, like, you know how I feel about like you and other bitches, but you want to keep playing with me. And like, the thing is, like, he posted this shit in my face, so it's like, what were you expecting that I say as your girlfriend? Like, please let me know. And we might not have been even dating at the time, but I know that every single time that we weren't dating, we were talking about getting back together. So there's no way. Like, he was playing with me. And then towards the end, I remember our last big fight. No, this wasn't our last big fight. Or maybe it was. I can't remember if this was before or after the whole prom fiasco. I cannot remember if it was around the time or if we started, because there was so many back and forths with him. Honestly, it was so bad. I posted this picture on Meet Me, and I had lost a bunch of weight, and I was so proud of myself. And I posted this picture, and he hit me up and was like, what the fuck are you posting? Like, why are you posting this? And I was like, oh, I was just happy. Like, did you not read the caption? I'm happy that I lost weight. And he's like, yeah, but your tits are fucking out. Like, your tits are, why do they need to be out like that? Like, why? What type of attention are you trying to look for? Like, all this, like, calling me a slut, like, all this different shit. And I'm like, sir, pipe down, for one. When I tell you that this man literally was, like, so upset with me to the point that he was like, I'm so over this. I'm so over this. I'm just gonna overdose. I'm just gonna relapse and overdose. Because at the time I thought he was clean, okay? At the time I thought he was clean. He wasn't, but at the time I thought he was. And so he threatened me with that. And of course, like, me at the time, I'm thinking, like, I don't want to be the reason for him to overdose. I don't want to be the reason for him to be in pain. I don't want to be the reason for his family to miss him. And so every time he came to realize that every time that he would threaten that, if I, like, was putting too much pressure on him, if I was expecting too much of him, anything like that, anytime that I put any type of pressure that he did not feel comfortable with, he would threaten that. Oh, I'm just gonna relapse. I'm just gonna do it. Like, I'm just gonna overdose. It was so sickening, bro. In high school, bitch, I'm a teenager. Like, so sickening. And I would threaten him. I'd be like, I'm gonna call the police if you do that. I'm gonna call the police. Like, I love you. Like, please don't do that. Like, we have a future. Like, you want to have a baby with me. Like, how are we supposed to have a baby? Like, saying anything for him to not do it, okay? And I remember just feeling so, like, scared and so, like, afraid that I was gonna wake up the next day and get, like, a phone call from who? Because nobody liked me. Nobody, like, I would have saw it on Facebook, honestly. And then I would call the cops, and he told me, he would, like, mess with my head and be like, if you call the cops, I'm gonna go to jail for, like, 10 years. And at the time, like, I've never been in trouble with the police, so how the fuck am I supposed to know if he's telling the truth or not? Because he said he was on probation, which I don't even think he was on at the time. But I think he lied and said that he was on, so that he was like, oh, well, if you call the cops, if I have contact with them, I go to jail for 10 years. Like, what? It was like I think he got into a fight with some guy. Please be serious with your life. This is what he said. He said, I don't even know, because I've tried to look him up, like, I have looked him up on PA docket, but I've seen charges, but nothing that, like, matches. So whatever. I don't know. What made me so mad? In the middle of this argument where he's threatening to take his life, okay, and be like, I'm gonna just go overdose on circles, bitch. In the middle of this argument, he says, you know what would make me feel better right now? I'm like, what, man? What would make you feel better? Some cat, bitch. He said, I would feel better if I had some cat right now.
Please don't play with me right now. Just, no, that's it. Please, let's not.
And I don't mean a little kitty from the pistol, bitch. Do you think I gave him cat, bitch? Do you think I did? Psych! Hell no. Sir, you need what? I thought you were just upset. What happened to that? Like, the manipulation, bro. I was so miserable in this relationship, but I loved him so much that I was like, I have to fix him. I have to stay. I can't abandon him, because I know what it feels like for my dad to abandon me. I cannot abandon him. Girl, learn from me, okay? It got to a point where I was like, are you, like, you're dead ass right now. And he would just do that. He would do it, and he would just make me feel like that was all he wanted. And at times that was all he wanted, but it was weird because it would be like, he would send me these big paragraphs and be like, I love you so much, I love you, and I want to be with you, and I want to marry you, and all these things, when he's sober, like stone cold sober. This man was in love with me the second he touched a circle. This man was my biggest hater, like my biggest fucking, like, he was so mean. The only thing that he did not do was put his hands on me. And that was it. He used to fucking yell at me. He used to fucking tell me that I wasn't allowed to talk about my past because he didn't want me to dwell on my past. Like, I'm not talking about, like, oh, I'm like, oh, my ex-boyfriend used to fucking eat Cheerios on Tuesday, and, like, I wish you would eat Cheerios on Tuesday. Like, no. I literally, like, would talk about my past, things that pained me in my past. I wouldn't talk about exes. I wouldn't talk about anything like that. I talked about, like, trauma. You just need to get over it. Like, you just need to stop talking about it. But whenever he had something traumatic going on, like, I had to be there for him to, all better. Big feelings, buddy. Like, what? That whole relationship sucked the soul out of me, bro. there were so many relationships that did. I didn't think that a lot of relationships I could have the soul sucked out of me in the ways that I did. And when I say that, like, that relationship just, like, completely, like, fucked with my, it fucked with my head. It really did. It really did. And then he went on to do all of the things that he did in adulthood, and I'm here thinking, like, oh my god, like, he's changed. Because when I tell you that it was such a difference when I saw him in adulthood, like, yes, we were drinking and, like, being stupid, and, like, I would go get drunk at his mom's house and shit like that, like, cool. But, like, it was such a clear difference. Like, even whenever he was, like, just when we were drinking, it was a clear difference from, like, okay, he's drinking and he's still nice to me, he's sober and he's still nice to me, like, he's telling me his feelings, he's communicative, like, he started off just as good as he did starting off when we were in high school, and then ended up just as badly. And, like, he got married and tried to talk to me and all of these different things. And, like, now, like, he told me that they were separated, which is something that I talked about in the other videos. He told me that they're separated, but, like, bro, I creeped on him, like, a couple weeks ago, I think. And who's still married on Facebook? Who tags their wife in things on Facebook? Could it be William? No. Did you hear my knee crack? That hurt so bad. I just wanted to come on here today and just give you guys the message that you do not have to take care of anybody else. You are responsible for your actions. The decisions that other people make do not define who you are, and you need to really work to understand that your value is what is most important to you. The relationship that you have with yourself is the one that is most important. And so when you let people dismantle that relationship, when you let people tap dance on that, it just serves as a reminder that you don't respect yourself, and therefore you're clocking that shit in your head internally. You might not know it, but you're literally clocking, okay, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of happiness, I'm not worthy of this, because you're putting yourself in situations where you're constantly made to feel that way. Please don't do that, baby. Please don't do that. I'm begging you, because this relationship taught me something that I really just, I know that I needed to know. I know that I needed to learn this. I know that I needed this experience, because I wouldn't have, I feel like it added to what I can give to you now, to tell you guys this, so that you cannot go through these types of things. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a terrible relationship. And I am happy that he did end up getting clean, but he never ended up getting completely sober for me. When we were in high school, because I begged him, bro. I would beg him to get off the pills. Like, I would literally beg him. And so he never got clean for me in high school. I think that's probably why, because I went through our messages, and he literally, our old messages, and I think that was why that he didn't want to go, or we had the whole prom issue. Like, he was pretty pissed off about the whole money situation, because, like, he wanted to be spending that money on circles, bitch. Bro, he did not care. But he didn't care at all. But that's pretty much the story, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a reminder that, like, you really have to put yourself first. And you're worth so much more than any man that will put a substance before you and your beauty. I just want you to know that. And I also want to just say that I'm praying for every single person struggling with addiction, because I know that it is such a hard thing to overcome. I know that it is such a hard thing, especially when you go through things and things get so tough and you feel like you can't make it out, you can't breathe, you can't function, you know what I mean? I get it. I understand that it's a disease. I understand that it hurts and that it's pain. I'm not saying that people struggling with addiction don't deserve love, respect, and support, but I'm just saying that you have to put yourself first. You just really have to put yourself first. But I love you, beautiful souls. Please be sure to like, subscribe, check out my podcast, The Darkest Sunrise, on Spotify, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.